Today, we're tackling one of the biggest challenges that every manager faces, balancing two really important things: accountability and compassion. If you've ever worried that you're being too soft or too harsh on your team, you're not alone. In fact, a 2023 Gallup survey found that 67% of managers struggle with this balance. In this video, I'll share practical strategies on how to help support your team while still maintaining high standards. So let's dive in. First, let's address a harmful myth that compassion and accountability are opposing forces, and that more of one means less of the other. In reality, these two things are very symbiotic, and most effective managers, they score high on both dimensions. Compassion and accountability, they're not opposites. They're complementary strengths that reinforce one another. Think about the best boss you've ever had. Chances are they care deeply about you as a person, and they also expected you to excel in your work. They didn't choose between these two approaches, they integrated them. Research from the University of Michigan found that leaders who score high on both compassion and accountability have teams that are 38% more engaged and 22% more productive than those who emphasize just the one approach. What compassion is not: avoiding difficult conversations, lowering standards, taking over someone else's work, or making excuses for poor performance. What authentic compassion is recognizing someone's humanity and unique circumstances, understanding the challenges from their perspective, providing appropriate support and resources, and caring about both their growth and their well-being. One of the most compassionate things you can do is provide clear expectations and honest feedback. Letting someone continue down a path that will ultimately harm their career, that's not kindness, that's avoidance. As leadership expert Kim Scott puts it, caring personally while challenging directly creates the conditions for both growth and psychological safety. Similarly, let's clarify what healthy accountability means. What accountability is not is micromanaging, public criticism or shame, rigid inflexibility, or punitive consequences without any support. So then, what is accountability? Well, effective accountability is clear expectations that you set collaboratively, regular two-way feedback, focus on learning and improvement, and consequences that are both fair and have a growth mindset to them. Accountability, it works best when it's consistent and transparent. Everyone should understand what success looks like and have the resources to actually achieve success. So how do you integrate all of this? Well, there's 4 key principles. Lead with context before content. Before you dive into a performance issue, understand the person's situation. What challenges are they facing? What resources do they have? What skills might they be missing? This doesn't mean accepting excuses, but it does mean gathering important information before you jump to conclusions. Number 2, separate the person from the performance. Your team members are not their mistakes, and they're also not their achievements. They're complex human beings who produce work that sometimes will meet or even exceed your expectations, but sometimes it won't. When giving feedback, focus on specific behaviors and outcomes rather than making character judgments. Number 3, be flexible on the path, but firm on the destination. Compassion, it often means adapting how someone reaches a goal. Accountability means maintaining clarity about what the goal is. You can adjust timelines. You can provide additional resources, or you can allow for different approaches while still holding firm on the final expectations. Number 4, make accountability mutual and visible. The strongest teams have accountability that flows in all directions, not just from manager to employee. Ask for feedback on how you're supporting the team. Be transparent about your own mistakes and your own areas for growth. This creates psychological safety for everyone to embrace both support and challenge. So let's go ahead and apply these principles to a couple different scenarios that we face as managers all the time. Number one, the performance decline. Imagine that previously high performing team member whose work has significantly declined for the past month. So, the compassion only approach might be to avoid the issue entirely or to make excuses. Here is what the integrated approach looks like. Number one, start with curiosity. I've noticed changes in your work lately. Before we discuss that, how are you doing overall? 2. Listen actively to understand. 3. Clearly articulate what the performance gap is. Let them know what you expect. Then collaborate on solutions. What support do you need? Then finally, number 5, follow up consistently. Scenario 2, work-life boundaries. A team member has significant personal challenges and now they want accommodation. So with the integrated approach, you would first acknowledge the difficulty. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Then you'd explore possible accommodations. Let's discuss what flexibilities might help you out. Then clarify what remains non-negotiable. These core responsibilities, they still need to be met. Document the temporary agreement with clear time frames, and then check in regularly on both well-being and work. Balancing compassion and accountability, it's a learned skill, and it's going to take some time to develop it. So here's how you can develop your capacity for using both these approaches. First, I would start with a self-awareness check. Ask yourself, do I tend to avoid difficult conversations out of discomfort? Or ask yourself, do I focus on rules and results without considering individual circumstances? Next, I'd try out a feedback loop. Regularly ask your team 2 questions. Do you feel supported, understood by me? And are my expectations and my own feedback clear? Their answers will reveal where you might be overemphasizing one approach at the expense of another. Finally, practice the pause. Before responding to performance issues, pause to consider both the human element and the work standards. This momentary reflection helps prevent reactive responses that lean too far one way or the other. Remember, the strongest managers, they're not choosing between compassion and accountability, they're mastering both simultaneously. When you combine genuine care for other people with clear standards and consequences, you create a culture where both individuals and results can thrive. The balance, it's not always perfect, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to bringing both of these essential leadership qualities to your team each and every day. If you found this helpful, please hit subscribe for more practical management content. And then stick around for the next video.